Welcome back. Welcome back. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here with Marvin. How's everybody doing?
Hope you guys doing great out there today.
What up, Marvin?
I'm good. What up with you?
We're back.
We back. Like we never left, right?
Right. What kind of conversation are we going to talk about now, Marvin?
Woo. Let's talk about something that I like to discuss, the death penalty.
Ooh.
Like, how do you feel about the death penalty?
Okay, as we get into these episodes, you're going to notice that I am very much in the middle about everything. So
you cannot ride the fence.
Here's what I say. This is what I always tell people, okay? I think that the death penalty and many other topics are going to be expressed based on personal experiences. It's just, that's how it is.
Yeah.
So this is what I say, right? People love to give this scenario of like, well, what if there's a man who's raping all these children? You don't want them dead? Well, I always like to say, like, what are the chances that that's going to happen? What are the chances that you're going to interact with somebody who's doing that you're going to actually see that and come in contact with this person? It's a very small percentage that that's actually going to happen, right? But maybe what are the chances that, like, what if it's your child? What if it's your father?
That's a good way to put it. What if it's your child or your father?
And so then if that's your child engaging in those behaviors, serial killer, serial rapist, whatever it may be, what if that was your child? How would you feel to hear everybody say, they should just kill him, he's disgusting, he's a scumbag of this earth, and you're living with that? The fact that your child is viewed that way, the fact that your child is going to go through this experience, how would you feel about that?
Yeah, that's crazy. So before we get deeper, right? So just to answer the question, are you for it or are you against it?
I think I'm more against it.
I'm 100% against it. 100% against it.
Tell me more. Why?
Me personally, outside of any circumstance of what they did, raped 1 million kids, killed 100 people, I just don't believe that somebody else got a right to take their life, or somebody got the right to decide to say you should be killed too. I just don't believe in that. And because you know better than them at that point. To me, you know better than them. Now, I've never been to jail, never knew nobody on death row, anything like that. But I've known people to be put in situations where it was either their life or somebody else's life, and they went to jail, and they was in states where the death penalty exists, so they could have got the death penalty. But what makes them any better to judge them to say, I don't care because you took this life, right? And then what circumstance constitute you should get the death penalty versus you should get the death penalty? I just think it's too gray, but I don't care if it was black and white. I just don't believe somebody should be able to tell somebody, we sentence you to death. Like, that's insane to me. Like, it's
Isn't
just crazy.
it? And I love that you said that, because actually I think every state has their own laws about it.
Yep.
And I read this book, and I'm not going to remember it, but I'll bring it up, at some point next time. It is a lawyer, basically. He wrote this book, and he is describing why he eventually became against the death penalty. And it's because no situation is the same.
Exactly.
There is no black and white heinous, like they can't even define what heinous means and what is deserving of the death penalty. So because he observed that, and because he saw those cases and those experiences, he then decided, I can't be for the death penalty because it's so gray and ambiguous, and there's actually no defined way of who has the most heinous crime.
And see, even then, I think about it in a sense of like, okay, let's say you're going through the court system, right? And you got a judge and you got these jurors or whatever, right? So with me, I am a pretty like flatline person. Like, nothing excites me overly, nothing overly makes me sad. So this guy might have, let's just say he raped 30 kids. And to you, that might be the most disgusting, off the wall thing that ever could happen. And to me, I'm like, okay, it happened, right? Not saying it's okay, but it happened. But you, because it's so hurtful to you, you saying sentence him to death, no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what mental state again, what's going on, not to make excuse for him. But your emotions tell you that, right? And I'm thinking up there like, so these jurors go decide his fate. Then the judge got to decide his fate, right?
Yeah.
And then it just don't make sense to me. Like, I can't even put into words that it just don't make sense that somebody could tell somebody else like, he should be sentenced to death. And then for the person who got to be the one to execute him, right? Lethal injection, all that. Like, you the one that
Awful.
operates that, right? And a lot of people say, well, it's a job. What makes that person even more like you? Oh, man.
Go ahead, say it. What?
That person, like then you got to be the one to execute these people, right? I would love to interview somebody that got that job, that has that job,
Or also chose that job. Why did they choose that job?
to see people executed. And I'm sure throughout history, hundreds of people have been executed, and everybody say, I didn't do this. I didn't do that. I'm a free man. I should be free, blah, blah, blah. But I just don't believe, like, those people should be allowed, if they get life in jail or whatever, they should just be allowed to live their life and let nature take care of what nature go do.
Right.
Let it happen. Because just like so the average person that go on death row, I don't know how long they on there for. If our producer could pull that up, how long somebody be on death row, the average time, right? Let's say 20 years. That person ain't the same person they was when they committed the crime.
No.
But then we go just kill them.
Yep. Like, the intensity has died off at that point because it takes so long. And I actually don't even know why it takes so long. It's because it has to go through multiple layers, multiple hearings, multiple conversations about it. But at that point, it's no longer as intense as it was when somebody was 20. A 20-year-old is younger, more impulsive. Their brain isn't completely developed. You know, our brains are not developed until we're 25 years old. So you're making a decision based on that mindset of a 20-year-old, and now they're 50.
See? And then we kill them and we execute them at that time. A decision that was made 20, 30 years ago by a judge or somebody else who might not even be around, who might not even feel the same now.
Exactly. Yeah, that does happen.
This person have to go to death row. Like, just think of all the people they've killed just because somebody said they should be dead. Now, I understand the families of the victims who say, like, kill them, right? Because they emotionally tied to the situation.
Of course.
But again, just like you said, what if it was your son or your father or your brother or your sister that was the one committing the crime? Would you still feel the same? Like, I couldn't even imagine if I had a son and he committed those crimes and they saying, he's sentenced to death row.
Yeah.
Like,
I know, it's crazy.
as much as I know the crimes he did was wrong, and I couldn't even imagine him, like, just knowing he got to go to death row.
Well, yeah, and it's also, like, surprising, right? Because, like, when you're seeing your child, you're thinking them in the best light, right? And so maybe at that point, too, you're in disbelief of this sort of behavior, and now you're having to come to the reality that he's going to be sentenced to death. Like, that's a whole, like, emotional traumatic event as a parent. So I always, when I have this conversation with people, it's always based on that. If this was your child, the other thing that I like to think about too is that these adults that do these heinous crimes were also kids at one point in their life.
True.
And who wasn't there for them, and what lack of support that they did not have that resulted in these behaviors. Right. And I'm going to say rapists because, like, rapists are like for everybody, like, they're the scumbags. Like, they're the worst of the worst. I mean, even guys in prison say that those are the worst type of human beings. But there is a lot of research that shows that the reason why there are men like that, it's because they themselves were molested, sexually abused as a child.
Yeah.
And so I know I'm going to get probably a lot of conversation with this a lot. Hey, I'm just like to play the devil's advocate of this, you know, like, because that's a true statement. This is like, that is like a fact. This isn't like, feelings and opinions. It's a true fact that research shows if they were impacted as a child, if they experienced that, they're more likely to do it. And so they were also children that did not get the support and the help that they should have received at that point. And now they're just the most disgusting human beings. So I always look at it from a human perspective. I'm not justifying this behavior, and nor do I wish this upon anybody else. And everybody's entitled to their opinions and their feelings about it, but that's what gets me sort of hesitant about the death penalty.
Right. And like you said, like no way, shape, or form we making excuses for any of these people.
None.
But I just feel just think about it. Like somebody sentencing somebody to death. Like
I know, I can't.
Ain't no coming back from that.
No.
Right? It's like your days are numbered. And again, like you're not the same person you was. You don't even. I don't know what it take. I've never even been close to killing anybody. Like my emotions never got riled up like that. So I don't know what it take to be in that emotional state. But you're not in that emotional state now. And I know what they did was wrong, but it's still like for somebody outside of the family to try to say, I'm going to be biased, right? I'm going to be unbiased. Unbiased and weigh all the options and then come out and say, sentence him to death.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, I think every state should just abolish that. Like, it should be no death penalty. Like,
but why do you think it exists?
The death penalty?
Yeah.
I don't even know why it exists. Like, even I mean, we would probably have to dig back, and it probably got something to do with some race type of thing. Because I know even the 14-year-old boy that was, I think it was North Carolina, South Carolina.
Yep.
Was the first child.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying, that got the death penalty. And just think, they killed a child.
14-year-old.
And that's imagine your 14-year-old. Those out there who watching, imagine your 14-year-old child, niece, cousin, any 14 you will know getting a death penalty.
Yeah, think about it.
Like no option for change. Just saying, nope, he done. No more existence, right? And then I took it further, right? And I asked, I'm not a religious person, but I asked some religious people. And a lot of them were saying they for the death penalty. And
wow.
I was like, wow, like, why, like just wow, like.
It kind of is a little contradicting, right?
Yeah, I'm like, so in the eyes of your God.
That's okay.
It's not okay in the God, but to you it's okay. So it's like you serving two different sides. Like you say, sometimes you on the fence, so, you want to see both sides, but it's like, you okay with saying, whatever God said, thou shalt not kill, all this, right? But then you're okay with people getting the death penalty.
That's crazy.
I'm like, that is wild. Like, whew.
I saw that story. It's crazy because it's a very common story of the 14-year-old kid. There's even specifics about how he had to be sat on books to reach because he got electrocuted.
Yep.
So imagine that, like he has his little head is in this device where he's being electrocuted and he's crying knowing what's about to happen. Then they open up their case. I don't know why sometimes cases get reopened. And then they found evidence that did not, like, it wasn't true. He didn't rape these women as they were saying. And there was evidence to show that he didn't do it, and yet they still followed through with it. But I think that's a whole topic in itself. Yep.
We'll revisit that one. But yeah, even in that situation, like some of those guys who was on death row who, convicted any time before the 90s, right? DNA came about maybe late 80s or something. Yeah. So they found evidence that maybe these people didn't do it, but yet they still executed them because of what? Like, just it's like to me, it's a power move. Like,
right.
Just strictly
it's based
power.
On feelings.
Like, yeah, it's like, you did this. I got the right to tell. Like, how do you even sleep at night? Right? And I know the people who committed the crime, how they sleep at night. But I don't want to be the one that say, you sentenced to death.
And then be the one who's actually implementing the death. And then be the one watching this happen.
Yeah, because people do watch it.
Oh, no.
And it's even crazy that the person who have to, I don't know how the lethal injection works. Somebody press a button and it happen, whatever. But think, you don't even have anything to do with this. And because somebody else made this guy who committed the crime made his decision to do this. A judge and jury made a decision to sentence him to this. And then here you come to work today.
Boom, you got to do it.
You got to do it.
I don't know. I couldn't live with myself doing that type of work.
Me neither. That
like I would feel like you would dread that job every day, like to wake up. Like I pray that I don't have to do this, or I'm excited to see if I can do this. Like imagine like both is just like overwhelming and scary and stressful.
It's just crazy. And then for us to be like, we live here in the United States, so we can only go off the United States. for us to be called the United States, but each state got their own different law about the death penalty. Some states could get it. Some states won't get. Some states say they're against it. It just.
And how is that determined?
Yeah, like who determined that? And then like at some point, probably all states did it, right? But it's so crazy to me that those old ass laws and things they put into place 100 years ago
Yep.
is still in effect today. Like it
Don't even
make
talk
sense.
to me about all this stuff more. You're going to get me going into another conversation.
It just don't make sense. Like we've evolved, we smarter, we got more evidence,
Technology.
like what, like you said earlier, like what constitute a death penalty? Okay, you killed 40 people. Okay, he raped 40 people. He child molested 40 kids. He robbed 30 banks. Like it's just all crimes, right? And
But we rate crimes on intensity. That's the problem. And that's what I'm saying. Like, again, I'm going to find this book, the name of it. But that's why, and I think actually the lawyer is local from Tucson. So he's, again, describing that and I read it, right? So every case is different. And it's bizarre to see like which ones are decided to die and which ones are not. And I can tell you from what I read, like the crimes were not, like I wouldn't consider them heinous crimes or whatever, but whatever state they were in, or the judge who was the one making the determination, or whoever the jurors were, is what determined that particular person's fate, basically. There's too many variables.
That's another thing, like to be judged by a jury. Like I don't even want to do in that case, to be, okay, this person did it, we know they did it, but they still go to trial to be judged by a jury to say yes or no. I mean, all of us wake up, we have good days, bad days, a bad week, a good week. Just so happened you caught some people with a bad week, and now the judge had a bad day. Because
Yep.
I'm saying, like, so like in all cases, or you showed up the wrong color that day and you got something that's not meant for you. And it's just like the deciding factors. I would love to know the deciding factors, like when they look at this and say, hey, because I've seen crimes where people commit murders, right? People commit murders, they know they get murders. They know they committed the murder, but then they get charged with like second degree murder, right? And I know it's a big difference, first degree, second degree, capital murder, all this, right? Murder, just murder. Besides the intent to say like, oh, you premeditated it, right? Outside of that, murder, just murder. So if you in the state of Texas, you get a capital murder, and so if you in Wisconsin, you just get second degree, like that's just baffling. For even a guy, right? So like Jeffrey Dahmer, the state of Wisconsin, right? So Jeffrey Dahmer, the state of Wisconsin, they don't have the death penalty. But imagine if he was in a state. I would have loved to see if he was in a state with the death penalty. What would happen? How would he have been judged? Would he got the death penalty or not? Ultimately he got the death penalty because they killed him in jail. But when they talk about heinous crimes, like, do it get any more heinous
than that? It is terrible.
Man,
if you guys haven't watched the documentary and you can stomach it, you should probably watch it.
And not even, and just growing up in Chicago, like that Milwaukee right down the road, right? So we heard about it as kids, like, oh, this guy eating people.
Really?
Yeah. So Milwaukee,
how crazy is that?
Milwaukee is like an hour and 15 minutes outside of Chicago.
Oh, wow.
Right? So we heard about it as kids, like, oh, this guy eating people, and he ate people, and as kids you play around, Jeffrey Dahmer go get you, and blah, blah, blah. Then when you became adult, you really looked into it and was like, man, he was eating people and then feeding it to his neighbors and all kind of stuff. And it's like, it don't get no worse than that. And state of Wisconsin don't got death penalty, but even then, I don't think he should have been sentenced to death. Like, it's a heinous crime, the worst I could ever think of. But I still don't believe in the death penalty.
Okay, so you said at the beginning, let nature take its course. It did for him. Like that wasn't anybody involved in that. It was like that was his fate.
Yep. And even then, right? Okay, right. So in Chicago, the state of Illinois, you had John Wayne Gacy, right?
Who's that one? I don't know
So
that
John
one.
Wayne Gacy was a serial killer.
Okay.
He was killing people. He was sentenced to death in the state of Illinois. He wasn't eating them though, right? Not saying it's worse or better, but he was killing people. And like as a kid, I remember hearing that too. And he would dress up like a clown and kidnap people, kill them. And,
Okay, okay, it's coming to me. I think I know.
and he even had like victims like buried in his wall and stuff like that. But he got the death penalty. That's why I don't believe state to state should have different laws. It should be the same. Because what makes his worse than the other one, right? It's no difference.
John Wayne Gacy, okay.
Besides, the other one was eating people, and
So for you, it's a crime is a crime.
crime is a crime.
Okay, so there's no intensity levels in a crime for you.
I mean, of course, robbery versus murder, the intensity is different. But I just believe when you reach the level, right? And I know some people will say, "Oh, they psychopath and sociopath and all this stuff."
They
but
are, Marvin. Don't look at me like that.
I know people gonna say that, but I'm like, when somebody commit a murder, right? If you're back against the wall, you got me or you. I understand that, right?
Okay,
but
yeah,
even then, you got to reach a level to be able to perform that, right? And then it's certain people who just become serial killers, like these guys we talking about. They just serial killers. Who knows what triggered them to become this? But I just don't think it's no intense than somebody just going and shooting up a crowd of people. I just think it's all the same. Like, it's just murder is just murder. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's no
Well,
different.
so again, on the death penalty, I'm a fence about it, right? How we determine severities, it's very ambiguous. But I do believe that there are levels and intensities in the crimes that we commit and how we commit them. I do believe. Robbing a shoe store
Well,
for $60, right? Versus, robbing a whole bank and threatening people to give you the money. They're still robbing, but the intensity levels are different.
No, I think it's all the same. I think the
the
person who
intensity-
committing the crime just understand, if I get caught with these $60 shoes, I'm okay. If I get caught from this bank, it's more of a risk. The risk is bigger, but I don't think the intensity, because what I think with the bank is just that person needed more than the person with the shoes.
I know, but the crime was more intense. Yes, it was absolutely, Marvin.
You think it
What
was
do you
more
mean?
intense?
He's going into a public area where there's multiple bankers threatening these people, intimidating them, potentially causing some form of harm physically.
Okay, it was a guy, right? He was robbing banks on a bike.
Okay.
And all he would do was show up to these banks and give them a note. He didn't have a gun or anything. He robbed like 4 banks and then he got caught. But he would give them a note. He would like park his bike somewhere in the woods. It was a woods nearby, and that's how he was getting away. He didn't harm anybody. It still was a bank robbery.
He did harm people, Marvin.
Mentally?
Yes, absolutely.
That's what's wrong.
Absolutely.
It's too soft.
That is trauma. Because in that moment, Marvin, you don't know if this guy has a gun or not.
I don't care. It ain't my money. Take it.
Oh my God, no. See, this is why, this is where we're different, right? Because in my world, that's traumatic.
Yeah, see, in my world, it's not.
Right.
But I'm from both worlds, and I can understand it being traumatic. But I'm just like, to me, it's just like stuff happens.
Yeah, but my life is being threatened. In that moment, I don't know what that guy has or doesn't have or whatever. My life is being threatened at that point. And my mind starts to be like, am I going to die right now or not?
So, okay, right. I'm glad you said that. So in your mind, when you start thinking, am I going to die right now or not? What do you do? This is where we different. Right, so.
I freak out. I'm going to freak out.
See, not me. If I'm in any situation where somebody else think they got control and I think, am I going to die? It's not me even thinking. I'm not going to die. I'm going to take matters in my own hand. I'm not going to die. I'm not going to leave it up to them with the gun. None of that. If I'm gonna die, they're gonna say he died. He went out trying to stop him from killing him. So you saying you're a panic?
I think I would. So I always have this conversation, with Dal, my husband, right? I always say, like, what would I do? Because I play these scenarios in my mind all the time because I've never had those personal experiences, right? We talked about this. I live in a small town. I'm very sheltered. There was a time I was very naive about reality of life. So I always try to think, what would I do? Like, what would Genesis in those traumatic events do? How would I react? And just knowing who I am, I would panic. I believe that I would panic.
And what does that look like? Have you ever panicked?
Yes, I actually have twice.
Wow.
And it was really stupid. Why I panicked. But I did. And what happened is I froze. I freaked out. I cried.
Yeah.
I was emotional. And I couldn't think straight in that moment.
So you was like a scene in a movie when they just freeze up.
And that worries me.
It worries me to know that now.
For reals, it does. It's very scary.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying, like, it is traumatic. Because in those, and I wasn't even in like a life or death situation, but in my mind started to spiral that like people are watching me. I'm going to be kidnapped in this moment. They know I'm vulnerable. I'm a female. They can see I'm alone. And so because of this, I'm showing signs of like, come get me.
Yeah.
And so then it caused me to freak out.
Wow. Okay.
It's scary.
We're going to talk about that.
Okay,
One,
I
right?
will.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it. So, to summarize it and wrap it all up, right? I think crime is there's a lot of ambiguity in it, right? There's no black or white way of looking at it. It's all dependent on state. It's dependent on the judge that's in front of you. Sometimes Marvin briefly mentioned this, like maybe it's dependent on the color of your skin, where you come from. And so that's what makes it scary, and that's what makes it kind of unfair. And also I always like to think about like, well, how would you feel? And I'd like to know from the people, like, how would you feel? Can you even imagine it? Because some people are like, well, it would never be my child. But it's because you don't know.
Exactly.
You never know. And so I always look at it from those perspectives. Like, what if this was somebody close to me? How would I feel about it? And because I don't think it would sit well with me, like, imagine this is like a picture perfect, right? Again, I'll use my dad. He has been nothing but a great man. And all of a sudden you hear these stories that you never knew about, because that's usually how it happens. Like these aren't people that these are your neighbors probably, right? The people that look the most normal, the people that are the most supportive of you are the ones potentially engaging in these crimes. How would you feel if you knew that they were going to be put on death row? I cannot even imagine like to see my dad in a different light. And I can't even imagine to be like, oh yeah, go ahead, kill my dad because he's a freaking serial killer or a scumbag or whatever. I just could not make that decision. And so that's how I look at things a lot, is like, what if it impacted me personally? Yeah.
And pretty much I lay on the side of not emotion, not logic. I just like right in the middle, and I say like, does it even make sense? And it just don't make sense to me. That we should have the right to take somebody else's life. In that case, why don't you just give them to the family and let them do it? Just say, hey, there you go, family.
He's always thinking of something crazy.
Take them out, right? At least they're emotionally attached, right? Could you even be the person on the jury that got to decide this guy fate when you knowing he could be facing that death penalty, right? Let us know what you think. And we going to revisit this because it's a lot more to discuss on this. And the death penalty is something that I never talked about with people, but I want to know, like, do you agree with it? Are you against it? Do you believe just certain crimes should have it? Like Genesis said earlier, a lot of people consider rape, people that rape or people that child molest are like the worst things you could do. How come those don't get death penalty? Like, what do you think? Let us know.
Thank you.